Hello, is Dab Life here, and today we're doing TV show reviews, Big Mouth Season 1. Without further ado, let's get into a synopsis of the first season. Spoilers are ahead. Season 1 of Big Mouth starts off with the characters' first day of 7th grade. One of the very first things that happen in the show is that all the characters go to a fall dance. I always love it in the show whenever they go to a unique location. Andrew and Missy slow dance, which Andrew proceeds to jizz his pants. Another thing I love about this show is that they incorporate real life stories, like what I just said was a real life story on the real life Andrew Goldberg, who's Andrew is based off of. Also in the next episode, there's another real life story when Jessie gets her first period at the Statue of Liberty. Anyways, Nick and Jessie kiss at the dance, and they hastily rush into being a couple, and then they break up 2 days later, like many middle school couples. Skip ahead a couple weeks. Nick and Andrew go to New York because Nick wants to see this girl called Roland. During the duo's shenanigans in New York, they find Jessie's mom cheating with a woman. Like the little piss baby they don't tell Jessie. Cut to 2 weeks later, when Nick gets drunk at a high school party and spills the beans to Jessie. Jessie storms off. She bumps into Jay and comes to find that they both have pretty shitty home lives. The two then kiss and are a couple now, I guess. The episode following this is I Survived Jessie's Bat Mitzvah. It's found out that Jessie's mom cheated on her husband with Cantor Dina, and Jessie's dad finds out during the whole scene. The season ends with Jessie and Jay running away. I'm going to talk about a couple of episodes now. Episode 2, Everybody Bleeds. In this episode, the gang goes on a school field trip to the Statue of Liberty. While going up the Statue of Liberty, Jessie and Andrew are talking, and Andrew points out a blood stain on her pants, and Jessie runs to the bathroom. Later that day, Andrew and Nick have an argument, which Andrew proceeds to spill the beans about Jessie. And out of nowhere, the show cuts into the first musical number of the series, which is a parody of R.E.M's Everybody Hurts, entitled Everybody Bleeds, hence the name of the episode. They also do a shot-for-shot remake of Everybody Hurts music video. This moment in the show is a prime example of how weird and random Big Mouth can get, especially in the first season. At the end of this episode, the female hormone monstress, Connie, gets introduced into the series. And on that note, I'm gonna take a bubble bath now. Episode 3, Am I Gay? This whole episode revolves around Andrew thinking he's gay after being turned on by The Rock. I can somewhat relate to this since it's very common to see people online questioning their whole identities after one little thing. I've done this myself in the past and I find it very cringy, but it is something that does happen and is very relatable, so yeah. Jessie and Nick go out on a date at a fancy restaurant. It's very awkward and very relatable. It's extremely funny and ends up with Jessie dumping Nick and Nick being completely oblivious. When Nick finds out, he becomes a little piss baby and tells everyone at school that he broke up with Jessie. Oh yeah, something I really like about this show is whenever there's a pan shot of the school, the message board usually says something funny or something that revolves around the plot. It's a very cool detail to notice. Anyways, when Jessie comes into school to confront the little piss baby, it turns into a western. It's really funny. And the little piss baby, Nick ends up getting fucking roasted by Jessie. Reflecting back on the show, I really loved the Jessie and Nick being a thing for a couple of days. It was very cute and very funny, and I can relate a lot since I've seen a lot of couples like that back in middle school, and in fact, I've been in a couple relationships like that. Episode 6, Pillow Talk. This is the absolute fucking worst episode of the entire series. The whole plot of Jay getting a pillow pregnant, it's so fucking atrocious, I hate it. Episode 9, I Survived Jessie's Bat Mitzvah. This is my favorite episode of season 1. I love this episode. Anyways, this episode starts out with one of Guy Balzerian's lawyer commercials, which is hilarious that we finally get to see one. Because throughout this whole season, they've just been kept referencing his commercials, and we finally get to see one this episode, and it's a very cool way to start off the episode. Anyways, a Bat Mitzvah is a very interesting location for an episode. The events that happen at Jessie's Bat Mitzvah are so much fun to watch, and I feel extremely bad for Jesse's dad when he finds out that Jesse's mom cheated on him. Also, the song Life is a Fucked Up Mess is an absolute fucking banger. Absolute bop. Definitely the best musical number of the season. Characters. Maurice the Hormone Monster. Maurice's chemistry with Andrew is pretty funny, and he has a lot of really good jokes this season, such as in the 3rd episode when Andrew watches gay porn and he switches into private browsing, and Maurice spouts out this fucking line, "I'm gonna have to clear more cookies than a fat kid at a birthday party." That line always fucking gets me every single time. It's fucking hilarious. Connie the Hormone Monstress. I fucking love Connie. She's my second favorite character. I love her voice too. It's really funny whenever she mispronounces words and just the way she talks in general. She's just a really funny and great character. A lot of charisma. I also love the chemistry between her and Jesse. They work so well together. And I especially love the bubble bath line. I have no idea why, but my favorite Connie quote is in the 8th episode when she stubs her toe on a coffee table and yells out, "Ow! Fuck you, coffee table!" I don't know why, but for some reason that's my favorite line in all of Big Mouth. Like, legitimately, I don't know why, I find it super funny. Jessie. Jessie's my favorite character. She's like the cool, popular girl type, but in reality, she has a lot of problems and isn't perfect. I personally relate with her the most. She's like the most realistic character on the whole show. That's why I like her so much. Nick. 100 Gex sums up this kid perfectly.
Hey, you little piss baby. You think you're so fucking cool, huh? You think you're so fucking tough?
Okay, no, but Nick genuinely does mean good, but he's usually pretty fucking annoying this season. Andrew and Missy. I don't really care for these two. They're okay. Music. Another thing I love about Big Mouth is that it has an original soundtrack, and this series' soundtrack is heavily underrated. So I'll be doing a ranking of each of the musical numbers. Big Mouth Season 1 has a total of 6 musical numbers, which I don't count Everybody Bleeds since it's a parody. Top 5, I guess. Number 5. Never Lost in New York City. Probably the most forgettable musical number in the series. Number 4. I Feel Like Shit, This Must Be Love. It's okay. Number 3. Totally Gay. One of the best Freddie Mercury impersonations I've ever heard. Number 2. Sexy Red Bra. Absolute bop. Number 1. Life is a Fucked Up Mess. I relate a lot to this song. My final thoughts. I'm fucking chills now. Okay, that wasn't funny, right, guys? The thing I probably like the most about Big Mouth is that they don't sugarcoat anything. They tell it as it is. I love how honest they are. Another thing I love about the show that's very decisive among people is the art style. I love the art style.
Top of his head.
The eyes are a very important part of Big Mouth's character designs, and I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. I especially love how the monsters look. Like, the monsters look great, but the humans do look like fish. Yeah. Speaking of monsters, I love the idea of like feelings and emotions being portrayed as like creatures. It's very cool, and I love it. But we'll get more into that in Season 2 review. Overall, Season 1 was great, but it had a lot of flaws, and there's a lot of room for improvement. And overall, I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. I recommend this 100%, but I know this isn't for everyone. Just give the first season a chance. You have nothing to lose. I think this show is very fresh and unique, and Season 2 is a fucking masterpiece, but we'll get into that next time on Season 2 review. Anyways, I hope you guys liked my first TV show review. See you next time. Bye-bye.
You people know a lot about trucks. Ding, 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 bong, bong, ding, ding.